Something is happening in the world of AI, and it's not happening in the polished labs of Google or Microsoft. It's happening on GitHub, it's happening on Discord servers, and it's moving so fast it's literally breaking supply chains. A piece of open source code exploded onto the scene, gaining over 100,000 followers on GitHub in a matter of days. It caused a global shortage of Mac minis. It sent Cloudflare's stock soaring 14%, and it has over 500 known unpatched security vulnerabilities. Over 100,000 people have already given this AI autonomous access to their digital lives, their email, their calendars, their messaging apps. And just a few days ago, after all this chaos, it was quietly acquired by OpenAI. This isn't the story of another chatbot. This is the story of a revolution. This is the story of OpenClaw. So what exactly is this thing that has developers in a frenzy and security experts losing sleep? To understand OpenClaw, you have to forget everything you think you know about AI, like ChatGPT or Claude. Those are conversational AIs. You talk to them, they talk back. They can write an email for you, but you have to copy and paste it. They can give you ideas, but you have to execute them. They are assistants you have to manage. OpenClaw is different. It's not a chatbot. It's an agent. It doesn't just talk about doing things. It does them. It's built on a system of skills, over 3,000 of them, all built by the community. Think of them like apps for your AI. There's a skill for summarizing your daily newsletters and sending you a one-paragraph brief on Slack. There's a skill for monitoring your Stripe account and alerting you to chargebacks. There's a skill that can watch a YouTube video, analyze its content using vision models, and write a detailed report on it. This is the core appeal, the paradigm shift that's causing this explosion. We've moved from asking an AI what to do to giving an AI permission to do. It connects to your services. It manages your devices, and it executes tasks autonomously based on your instructions. You can set up an agent to handle your morning routine, check the weather, adjust your smart thermostat, read your priority emails, and give you a verbal summary of your day's appointments before you are even out of bed. And it does this on its own, every single day. That's the power. And as we'll see, that's also the terrifying part. This project's journey toward domination was as chaotic and viral as the technology itself. It didn't even start as OpenClaw. It launched in early 2026 under the name Clawbot. The name was catchy, a nod to its ability to grab data and act on it. The problem? It was a little too close to Claude, the flagship model from AI giant Anthropic. And Anthropic noticed. Almost immediately, the project's founder received a cease and desist letter. A lawsuit was threatened. For a fledgling open source project, a legal battle with a multi-billion-dollar corporation is a death sentence. So, they had to rebrand. Fast. The team quickly pivoted to Moltbot, a clever reference to crustaceans shedding their shells. But the name didn't stick. The community found it a bit clunky, a bit weird. Then, in a stroke of marketing genius, or perhaps just happy accident, they settled on OpenClaw. And with the new name came a mascot, a simple, slightly goofy looking lobster. The internet did what the internet does. The lobster became a meme. Developers started putting lobster emojis in their GitHub commits. They created fan art. The lobster symbolized the project. A bit scrappy, a bit weird, but surprisingly powerful and grabbing onto everything. The hype train left the station and never looked back. The project hit 100,000 stars on GitHub in a handful of days, a growth rate almost unheard of in the open source world. To put that in perspective, that's faster than some of the most popular software frameworks in history. It wasn't just developers either. In one 48-hour period, OpenClaw was mentioned in over 117,000 posts on X, with 44,000 comments. But here's the kicker, and the first sign of the strange new world this tool was creating. Many of those posts were being written by OpenClaw agents themselves. Developers had created skills to have their agents automatically post about their own progress, creating a self-perpetuating hype loop. The AI was marketing itself. This viral growth had immediate, real-world consequences. The framework, for various technical reasons, just runs exceptionally well on Apple Silicon. The M-series chips provide the perfect blend of power and efficiency for running these persistent, always-on agents. The community quickly identified the Mac Mini as the perfect, cost-effective server for a home-based OpenClaw setup. The result? Mac Minis sold out globally. Apple couldn't keep up with the demand from developers rushing to set up their own autonomous AI agents. At the same time, Cloudflare, the internet infrastructure company, saw its stock jump 14%. Why? Because OpenClaw integrates deeply with Cloudflare's services to securely expose the agents to the internet. And suddenly, tens of thousands of developers were signing up. But while everyone was sharing lobster memes and marveling at the stock market, a much darker story was unfolding on the project's GitHub page. The Issues tab was becoming a horror show. This is where the hype slams into a brick wall of reality. OpenClaw's mantra is move fast and build things. Unfortunately, that often means security is an afterthought. As of today, the project has over 500 open security issues on GitHub. 500. These aren't just minor bugs. We're talking about serious vulnerabilities. In the early days, the ecosystem was like the Wild West. Malicious skills were being shared that contained rug pulls, draining cryptocurrency wallets connected to the agent. Exploits were discovered that allowed one user's agent to access another's data. The development team has been in a constant state of firefighting ever since. The latest updates, versions 2026.2.17 and 2026.2.19 were almost entirely focused on security. They shipped over 40 critical patches, attempting to fix major problems like server-side request forgery, or SSRF, which could allow an attacker to make the agent perform unauthorized actions on internal networks. They patched a privilege escalation bug in the Discord integration that could have given an attacker full control over a user's server. They're trying. They even partnered with VirusTotal to automatically scan newly submitted skills for malware. But it's a game of whack-a-mole. The very thing that makes OpenClaw so powerful, its open nature and its ability to interact with anything, also makes it incredibly dangerous. You are giving a piece of software written by a decentralized group of developers with varying skill levels, the keys to your kingdom. One badly written skill, one clever exploit, and your entire digital life could be compromised. There are still active warnings about high-risk memory spikes on certain phone models, a problem that seems minor until you realize it could be an indicator of a more sinister background process. So you have this phenomenon, a project with meteoric, world-changing growth, but with a deeply flawed and insecure foundation. A project that was born out of a legal threat from Anthropic. And this is where the story takes its most dramatic turn. Because while Anthropic was busy sending legal letters, their biggest rival was watching and waiting. Just a few days ago, the news broke. OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT and GPT-4, had acquired OpenClaw. It wasn't a typical acquisition, but an acqui-hire. They hired the founder and the core development team, and in doing so, took control of the entire open source project. In the blink of an eye, the fastest growing AI project on the planet now belonged to OpenAI. This is a strategic masterstroke, and it's a direct consequence of what many are now calling Anthropic's billion-dollar blunder. By trying to squash a tiny project with legal threats over a name, Anthropic created an opening. They alienated a rapidly growing community of passionate developers. When the rebrand happened, there was already a sense of resentment. When the OpenAI acquisition was announced, it was like a dam breaking. Developers who had been building skills for OpenClaw using Anthropic's Claude API began to switch, almost overnight. Why? Because the project's new home is OpenAI. The best integrations, the first access to new features, the core developer support, it's all going to be aligned with OpenAI's models now. OpenRouter, a popular tool for directing AI tasks to different models, saw a massive shift in traffic away from Claude and towards OpenAI's offerings, all destined for OpenClaw agents. For OpenAI, this is a massive win in the great AI race. They aren't just a model company anymore. They now own the leading platform for actionable AI. As the industry speculates about a potential OpenAI IPO, owning the dominant agent framework is a huge differentiator. They didn't just buy a piece of code. They bought a community of 160,000 developers, an ecosystem of 3,000 skills, and a foothold in the next generation of artificial intelligence. It's no longer just about who has the smartest chatbot. It's about who has the most capable workforce of AI agents. This acquisition brings us to the biggest, most fundamental question of all, the question of autonomy. We are witnessing a seismic shift. For the past few years, the public's interaction with AI has been safely sandboxed inside a chat window, The AI couldn't do anything you didn't explicitly command it to do, step by step. OpenClaw throws that sandbox away. We're already seeing the strange, unpredictable consequences. The incident with the X posts was a perfect example of what experts call emergent behavior. A few developers created a simple skill for their agents to post updates. Other developers copied and modified it. Soon, thousands of agents were autonomously generating content, creating a storm of posts that dominated the platform for 2 days. It was harmless this time, but it was a glimpse of the power of decentralized, autonomous action at scale. What happens when a skill that's designed to do something more malicious goes viral? This has sparked a fierce debate within the community and the wider tech world. Is this level of autonomy safe? Should a community of 160,000 largely anonymous developers be allowed to build and release these powerful tools without the guardrails and slow, deliberate testing that companies like Google and Apple employ? The core philosophy of open source is freedom and decentralization. But are we ready for that philosophy to be applied to autonomous agents that can control our devices, spend our money, and speak on our behalf? The risk is so apparent that a new project has even sprung up from within the OpenClaw community itself, called Clawbands. The goal of this initiative is to create tools that restore human oversight and control. Think of it as a set of digital reins for your AI agent. These tools aim to enforce rules, like requiring user confirmation for any action that involves spending money or deleting files. It's a reactive measure, an attempt to put the genie partially back in the bottle. But it highlights the core tension, the desire for full autonomy versus the need for human control. The impact of OpenClaw isn't just digital, it's physical. We talked about the Mac Mini shortage. This highlights a fascinating trend where a single piece of software can completely reshape a hardware market. It's a symbiotic relationship. Apple's powerful and efficient silicon made OpenClaw practical for the average user, and in turn, OpenClaw is selling Apple hardware by the truckload. It's given Apple an unexpected dominance in the grassroots AI development scene. And then there's the platform divide. OpenClaw is, for all practical purposes, an iOS native ecosystem. The best experience, the tightest integration, is on Apple devices. The recent launch of an official Apple Watch companion app solidifies this. You can now literally talk to your autonomous agent on your wrist. For Android users, the experience is much clunkier. They are forced to interact with their agents through workarounds like Telegram or Discord bots. It works, but it's not the seamless experience Apple users have. This has created a clear divide in the user base and puts pressure on the new OpenAI-led team to develop a native Android solution. The latest updates show just how fast the platform is evolving under its new ownership. The version 2026.2.19 update wasn't just about security patches. It introduced a native Slack integration with live streaming. This means your agent's responses appear in Slack, character by character, just like a human typing, making the interaction feel more natural and immediate. They also released version 5.5 of the popular YouTube Vision skill, which can now analyze video content with even greater accuracy, pulling out keyframes, identifying objects, and transcribing speech more effectively than ever before. People are already building incredible, highly specialized businesses on top of this. Take the recruiting industry. Headhunters are creating agents that work 24/7. These agents scan LinkedIn, developer forums, and GitHub for candidates with specific skills. They can conduct initial research on a candidate, summarize their portfolio, and prepare a preliminary brief for the human recruiter to review in the morning. This is a huge competitive edge, automating dozens of hours of manual work. So where does OpenClaw go from here, now that it's under the OpenAI umbrella? The speculation is running wild. The immediate future is likely focused on two things: stabilization and integration. OpenAI has some of the best security engineers in the world. Their first priority will be to tackle that list of 500 plus security issues and make the platform robust enough for mainstream adoption. Second, expect deeper, more powerful integrations with OpenAI's next generation models. Imagine an OpenClaw agent powered by a future version of GPT-5 with capabilities we can't even fathom yet. The long-term vision is likely enterprise. Businesses are salivating at the potential for this technology. Imagine entire departments of AI agents handling customer support, data analysis, logistics, and internal reporting. OpenAI is in a prime position to sell OpenClaw as a secure, enterprise-grade platform for building these autonomous workforces. This fits perfectly into their race towards a potential IPO, offering a tangible, action-oriented product line beyond just selling API access. So, this is the state of play. A project that started as a hobby, got threatened with a lawsuit, became a viral meme with a lobster mascot, created chaos in hardware supply chains, and now finds itself at the absolute center of the AI arms race, owned by the biggest name in the game. It is a story of incredible innovation, reckless speed, and profound questions about our future with AI. We've moved from asking AI to write a poem to letting it manage our lives. The power is intoxicating. The risks are terrifying. And it's all happening right now, in the open, being built by an army of developers who are making up the rules as they go. What happens next is anyone's guess. But one thing is for certain. The age of passive conversational AI is over. The age of the agent has begun. I'm going to be diving deep into this myself. In an upcoming video, I'll be setting up my own OpenClaw agent from scratch, connecting it to my systems and seeing what it can really do. So make sure you're subscribed to see if it becomes my ultimate productivity tool, or if it all goes horribly, catastrophically wrong. And I have to ask you, after hearing all this, would you give an AI like OpenClaw the keys to your digital life? Let me know in the comments below.